is my meditation all the day, all the night, morning through night. And I delight in the law of the Lord, and on his law I meditate day and night. Morning Meditations with C.J. Marshall.
Good morning. We're in the book of Galatians this morning, and last week we noticed that there is a contrast between the flesh and the spirit. In Galatians chapter 5, Paul lists the works of the flesh and the works of the spirit, and the application was that we need to be walking by the Spirit to put off the deeds of the flesh and also exhibit the fruit of the Spirit. And part of that is living out the fruit of the Spirit. And in chapter 6, we see what a spirit-filled life looks like in verses 1 through 5. He starts, brothers, if anyone is caught in any transgression, you who are spiritual should restore him in a spirit of gentleness. Keep watch on yourself, lest you too be tempted. Paul begins this chapter with an exhortation that if a brother is caught in a trespass, you who are spiritual, i.e., chapter 5, you who are walking by the Spirit, Galatians 5:16, restore him in a spirit of gentleness. And it says to do this in a spirit of gentleness, to watch yourself, lest you too be tempted. If you are harsh on your brother, you may fall into temptation of being bitter against them. Instead, we are to bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. Instead of being hard on one another and not watching myself, I need to look out for my brother. And while I'm looking out for my brother, I need to consider myself so I'm not tempted to sin. And we bear each other's burdens. That means we share each other's load. We talk to each other. Christianity is not meant to be some isolated religion. We need each other. Then he deals with a false perception. In verse 3, for if anyone thinks he is something when he is nothing, he deceives himself. If you are bearing one another's burdens, part of that is I realize I can't do it without you. I can't make my life right without you. I need you and you need me. We lean on each other. I can't go to heaven doing it all by myself. I need a support group. Then he says, test yourself. Bear one another's burdens, but test yourself. Look at verses 4 and 5. But let each one test his own work, and then his reason to boast will be in himself and not in his neighbor, for each will have to bear his own load. There's a sense in which we help each other, bear each other's burdens, as Paul has said in verse 2, but there's also a sense in which we need to bear our own load. We will be standing on our own 2 feet on the day of judgment. 2 Corinthians 5 and verse 10 says we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ to receive what each one has done in the body. And so, yes, we help each other, but remember, we will be judged individually. I can't bear my brother's load if I'm not willing to admit that I have my own burdens to bear as well. And some burdens are stumbling blocks, and some of them I need to bear by myself. And ultimately, in the day of judgment, my brother will not be there to bear my burdens. I need to do it myself. May those thoughts challenge us. Thank you for joining me today. And may you always be like the psalmist as you go throughout this week, who says, "Oh, how I love your law. It is my meditation all the day." I'll see you next week. God bless.
Morning meditations, oh how I love thy law, it is my meditation all the day, all the night, morning through night, and I delight in the law of the Lord, and on his law I meditate day and night.